It's the Task Force! The Task Force 5! It's the Task Force! The Task Force 5!
Hello again, YouTube! This is Dr.Kendo, and I'm here with Best Man Joseph, or whatever your name is gonna be, as we're representing the Task Force 5. This is the best man at my wedding. We're playing some Pikmin 3 mission modes. This is, however, the DLC content. You know, they release some downloadable content every now and then, and this particular one, it had like a festive theme because it came just before Christmas. And so, I really thought that it kind of made an interesting take on Pikmin, because, I mean, who would have thought we'd be amongst all these presents and stuff like that?
Indeed.
But at the same time, you know, I when I first saw it, I had that kind of probably what's common with Nintendo nowadays. I had a slight skepticism. I was like, okay, is this really going to be as cool as, you know, like it could be? I need to just get my hands on it and not make any assumptions. And once I played it, yes, it's pretty cool. It's not, of course, my favorite level of the Pikmin mission modes yet, but definitely this, I would say it's actually probably more challenging than a lot of them, just because there's a lot to cover, right?
Yeah, I feel like this is a very massive level that requires a very distinct sequence in order to do well.
Yes, and Lord knows, I mean, CK and I try to come up with our sequence and come up with our strategy, who's going to take what. Often, though, and I think this is probably with most people who play this, there is going to be those unexpected things that go wrong or go right or just, you know, are different from your plan. So you do have to be able to be on your feet and stray away, possibly, from your strategy. So I actually thought I kind of missed it. I was going to point out, though, when Alf right there, I just slid down the slide over there on the left side. That's a Christmas tree, and you can slide all the way down it. My main gripe is that if you don't press the minus button to switch captains at the exact moment, you won't be able to switch, and you have to sit there watching the slide, which obviously is going to waste how many seconds? Like
right.
6? Something like that? I don't know. Well, and that's 6 valuable seconds. I mean, that sounds like nothing, you know what I mean? But in these, it's crazy.
No, it's crucial. Every
Yes.
second is crucial.
Yes, every second. Damn right. So I always tell CK, almost any time that there's blue Pikmin, I'm like, you go do that. You know, you go take on the water, because that gives me an opportunity to do all the stuff on land. Whereas, you know, when you're both doing stuff on land, you can obviously both get involved in the process. But when it's water, I would rather just kind of send one person, since none of the other Pikmin can go in the water. You know, I'm like, I would rather have one person go do that water stuff.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's an easy distinction. Like, I think that, you know, part of the strategy here is figuring out what it is that you're going to do versus what it is that I'm going to do. And it's just a very easy mental thing that you can, you know, look at very quickly and go, that's land, that's Dr.Kendo, oh, that's water, that's Best Man Joseph. So, yeah,
Nice.
I think it just works simplicity-wise to say, like, okay, this is my realm, this is your realm.
Of course. You actually did something different with these cherries, didn't you? Like, a different outcome came.
Yeah, we played this level a few times to kind of get our strategy down, and I realized, actually, at the very beginning, that it's best for me to knock down that sandcastle wall and then come back and pick up these cherries, but also that it's better for me to get the cherries on the far side of the pool, because in collecting the 5 cherries on that side of the pool, the Pikmin will knock the 6th cherry out of the pool. So
awesome.
I'm able to use a non-blue Pikmin to get the 6th cherry, which allows me to get the 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th with blue Pikmin, and still have, at this point in the game, white Pikmin to do other things with, like start collecting that treasure, collecting the fruit that you see me collecting now. So yeah, it was just one of those things I happened upon and said, hey, this is a strategy that works and really expedites what it is that we do.
Absolutely. Something I want to point out is you saw on the left side the battle with the only enemy on this level.
Yes.
Right? It's the only one. Everything else is just fruit and treasure. But that one enemy is this damn crawdad lobster thing that's in the pizza, and or crayfish, depending on what part of the world you're in. But that also, one error, I have multiple things to say about that, I guess. One good thing that I did was I threw down one of the captains to go pluck the pinks that are down below, while I kept the captain with all the other various Pikmin to attack up on the upper part and get ready to fight the lobster and all that goodness. And the problem was, the thing that I did wrong was I didn't switch to get those pinks that I plucked before the battle. I didn't send them all on the gold. They could have been collecting that gold that you now see on the right-hand side where CK is controlling Alf. They could have been collecting that, and we would have gotten, I don't know, maybe a good 10 seconds, 20 seconds worth of, extra time where they would have probably finished that gold by then, by the time the lobster was dead.
Right, and I could transfer them over to the bridge.
Yeah.
Rather than having to have you do that.
Yeah, so, ultimately it just, it took more time, and it was just kind of evidence, I would say, to Pikmin. You can do so many ways on these collect treasure mission modes, and each move you make, I feel like, does affect the flow of the rest of the moves, It's like it can really affect things. The other thing about that big lobster guy was, I have a mixture of rocks, reds, yellows, whatever I had up there with me to battle him. My strategy was I actually did the battle really good, so I will say on my goods, goods compared to bads, the good was that I actually had found out, hey, I could probably take out this lobster in one go-around instead of letting him retreat back into his pizza if I make the other Pikmin that are not rocks, so basically any of my reds and yellows, just make them start punching and gnawing on his belly or whatever, and then throw the rocks later, because the rocks aren't going to sit there and keep attacking. They'll hit him once and do the, more blunt force, actual big damage in one swing, but those other guys, they'll keep poking and punching little damage little by little. And so if I have them on his stomach first, then I can throw the rock second.
Oh, okay.
So that was my
seems
thought.
to make sense.
And it ended up working, I took him out in one go around again, so it paid off.
Nice, very nice.
So another thing, CK, I would say is this is one of those levels, we have tons of different colors of Pikmin.
Yes.
So that adds, I guess, a dynamic to some degree. Again, I just referenced what it does for the lobster, but also CK referenced it a little bit with the blues and how he had the extra whites when he did his strategy. But then, what are we going to have the purples take? And also the yellows, you can throw them the highest. So, I was like, well, I could try to get the flyers off of their bridge. They're holding up that bridge that makes everything go a lot faster. I could take them off of that and have them go take those grapes that are up high near the bridge, but we wouldn't have the benefit of that bridge actually being up. So like that. So I thought it was a better chance to then just take the yellows instead, which you can throw high enough to get up there to those grapes. None of the other colors, you can actually get them up high enough. So.
Yeah, it's funny. As you're saying, I'm looking at my screen and realized that I made a mistake there, not realizing that I had 3 purples and not just 2. So I kind of backtracked a little bit, and that probably cost us about 10 seconds. But yeah, it's for me, at least at this point in the map, it's figuring out and balancing how can I adequately use those purples so that I have more of the other colored Pikmins to collect treasure. Because now, at this point in the level, it's all about how quickly and efficiently can we collect that treasure. And you just saw me collect the 5 whites that I did at the very beginning of the level. That it's trying to balance, when do they finish collecting that lump of treasure versus when is it easier for me to go and collect them, because they are a little bit out of the way. So when is it that I can collect them so that I can best utilize their speed?
Absolutely. That is one thing about our strategy, is I have you go at the very, very beginning, since there's so much wait time, which sucks. Wait time is the worst in Pikmin 3. You don't want to be sitting there with your captains just doing nothing.
It's so terrible.
And so anyway, I get Joseph. He was like, I can do this huge trek, which is really inconvenient to do at any other part in this level. So I am glad that one of us came up with that. I don't know who it was, but we said, at that time, you could go run and get those whites that are all the way around the whole level.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
So that's what he was referring to when he said, those 5 white Pikmin from the beginning. That's where they were. And another thing about this level I actually wanted to say was the bananas. It's kind of interesting because it's very rare before these mission modes, before these particular levels. So, this one and the DLC that came after it. It was very rare that fruit costed more than 10 Pikmin. Bananas cost 15. So, you can't just throw a purple on it and be like, he's cool, he's going to take it all. You gotta have either 2 purples or a purple and 5 or whatever, at minimum. So, one other piece of advice, I guess, not like CK and I are the complete pros at this or anything like that, but one thing I think that I do kind of have down, and hopefully it's not just too obvious or whatever, but I would say leave the majority of the gold back that's closest to the ship. Leave most of that for the end. Because obviously your Pikmin only have, look at that short distance on the right there on CK screen. Like, all those guys are done now, and what do we only have 2 minutes left? It's like, we waited till a good time, I think, to let that go. Because if you get all that at the beginning, that's time that you could have spent doing all the stuff that's further away or whatever, and if it comes down to the last few seconds, you want to have the closest gold be there and not the farthest gold.
Yes, agreed. This banana, I remember us kind of getting a little frantic about because we forgot that it was there. But we were very fortunate that, like you just said, it was right next to the base. That the one fruit that we forgot about was the fruit that was closest to the base. So we had all of the Pikmin, and we could very easily say, oh, we need to compensate, grab this banana, and it came down quick and didn't have, a terrible effect on our final score.
And that is what closed out the mission.
It is,
That's what we finished right then, so it was having that banana close by. And pretty good score, I would say. Having over a minute on this level is good for maybe average to advanced players like us. You know what I mean? We're not the world championship holders who get 16,000. I don't know how the hell they get that score. It's double our score right now. Hold up, let's see.
Yeah.
Oh, it doesn't show the... Yeah, there it is. 15,700 on the world record. How the hell did they do that?
It's impressive for sure.
Hackers. But anyway... We'll catch you on the next Pikmin 3 commentary or whatever comes up. This is Task Force 5. It's probably going to be the first Pikmin video that comes up on Task Force 5, a collection of Dr.Kendo and some of the greatest community of subscribers / friends out there for my community, and we have all banded together to be a super task force of YouTube commentators / entertainers. So, hope you enjoy the rest of the content, and of course, thanks for viewing. Thanks for task forcing. Anyway, peace. CK!